Hi everybody. I have a couple of notes to try and keep track of. So if I'm looking down, that's just me checking my notes. Otherwise, I'm going to try and do my best to do next slide and those sorts of things that way. There we go. Okay. So I'm obviously giving the presentation for about engineering, a bit of an overview of how we operate as engineers in Xplor Education, and a little bit about how we interact with the product team with delivering features out to customers. So I'll do my best to make it somewhat entertaining for everybody. Obviously, I'm head of engineering for the business management system. So that's the likes of Office, Quick Kids and Discover within Xplor. I've been with Xplor about 5 years. And I look after 5 teams and about 40 engineers, mostly responsible for, like I said, for Office, Quick Kids and Discover within Xplor. In my spare time, like I says there, making pizza, retro arcade games, throwing axes, lots of fun stuff like that. All right. So in my talk, I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about what it means to work as an engineer at Xplor, and then some insight into kind of what we do and how we do it. So if you've got any questions, like Abby said, please use the chat functionality. I'll also have a little bit of time at the end if you want to come on off unmute and answer, ask some questions. So here we go. So our purpose and values have really been with Xplor since its inception, and it's in one way or another. Sorry, and they're really the purpose and values are really core to what we do, and way for it to ensure that we're really focusing our energy in the right places, and doing our best to deliver value to the customers and making those right decisions every day. So it's a big part of what we do and what we believe in at Xplor. So you can see here, this is kind of the global purpose for the company Xplor Technologies, and it's now a company of more than 2,000 employees. Singular purpose has been set at the global level, but ultimately we exist as a company to help people succeed. So we want our customers to succeed. We want our customers' customers to succeed. Our staff, our colleagues, and our customer staff, of course. I mean, you get the idea. We want everybody to be able to succeed, and everything we do is really designed to further that purpose, to do what we can to help people succeed as much as possible. So our values are then designed to support that vision. Plus, I mean, they're just generally really good values. So make life simple, don't overcomplicate things, keep it simple. That's where the most value is normally given. Building for people, keeping people first, creating the best experiences we can in the software, in our interactions with customers, in the support that we give. Really, people first is the big thing there. Moving with purpose, really just being deliberate about how we expend our energy, what we do, and doing our best to deliver the best outcomes that we can. So we really kind of try and make that decision about how it is that we spend our energy. And then creating lasting communities, creating those strong relationships with customers, between our customers and our products, with our colleagues, within teams, within engineering, with the commercial teams, with really everybody in Xplor. So that the values aren't just kind of outward facing, they're also inward facing. We try and have all of those values represent in the way that we interact within the company as well. So the people, genuinely, the people that Xplor are the most valuable resource that we have. Some of them are some of the people that I've worked with in my time at Xplor, absolutely just amazing humans that I deeply cherish the relationships that I have with them. So this is the part of my presentation that could go on for forever. I gush for a really long time about the people that we work with, but what I'm trying to do, I'll just show you a couple of photos of some people, give you a bit of an idea about what's going on in Xplor. So here we can see, we had a Halloween party on the left-hand side there with some excellent costumes. There's lots of get-togethers on the right there. There's some folks who are off at road shows. Everyone in the team at Xplor is always willing to jump in and do what they can and help out with the thing when things get tough. And they're always, of course, there to help celebrate the wins as well. So, we've got our director of product and head of product on the left there, and again, the support and marketing teams on the right hand side there, enjoying Friday afternoon drinks that we often have. So we have an amazing support team, onboarding team, sales team, product team, and our engineers are pretty good, obviously. And of course, very charismatic leadership, which you'll get to meet him later on today. So just change my notes over. Moving on to the next slide. Culture is a massive thing at Xplor. We often talk about it. We spend time and energy, ensuring that we have a really good culture, a really inclusive culture in Xplor, and it's honestly what makes Xplor so special. Like I said, it's super inclusive and supportive, and people can genuinely be their authentic selves. Honestly, it's a very big part of why I'm still very happily here at Xplor after almost 5 years. We have things like regular events. I'll switch the slide, like make your own pizzas. You can see in the middle there, that was me as Santa with my elf last Christmas. The guys and girls have done some running and different other challenges and stuff. It's really good fun. We've got an all hands, every Monday and Friday where we get together to talk about what's coming up in the week. We get to celebrate, the wins that we've had on the Friday. And if you come into the Melbourne office, you might even get a chance to play me in Street Fighter. Maybe, we'll see. But it's in the kitchen area when you walk into the office. We've got an arcade machine there, which is wonderful. All right. So our teams, our engineering teams work on every aspect of our platforms. The BMS products themselves, authentication and logging, and all the other kind of stuff that sits behind the scenes as well. And at any given time, there's could be a dozen or more projects that are being worked on with the various teams. And as you can imagine, that takes quite a bit of work to organise and have run smoothly, but they do it very, very well. So our engineers are grouped into teams that share a common technology stack, like a programming language and a database technology. You can see, Elixir and PHP and .NET within those Office and QuickKids and Waitlist and Discover platforms there. So as you can see, there's a number of products that share the same core technology, like QuickKids and Discover and Waitlist all use .NET, and Office and Playground and Home all use Elixir. So we do have an opportunity sometimes for engineers to kind of work on different parts of the platform and different products as features and work comes and goes for that. So it's nice to be able to give the engineers an opportunity to broaden their horizons and switch between those different platforms. Now we look at the roadmap. So each year we've got a roadmap that runs for the calendar year from January to December. And the roadmap really sets out the features and initiatives that we're planning on working on within a given quarter and then the year. So roadmap is something that comes from the product team, is really influenced and kind of driven by commercial and customer needs, and the engineering team and the product team work hand in hand to both curate, manage, and then deliver on that roadmap. So the various different inputs that come into building, that roadmap, initially planning that roadmap and then executing that roadmap. We've got customer input. What do we got? Things like Quinney requests from customers when the enterprise teams have quarterly business reviews with the customers. Things that come up in that nature are all then inputs into the roadmap. Internal teams, support teams, onboarding teams, commercial teams, sales teams, they all obviously have input as well. That comes in through an internal Quinney request. Then we have quarterly roadmap calibration sessions where product and commercial and engineering get together to just reevaluate, double check that we're on the right path, check those priorities, put everything in line so that we can really be good to go at the start of each quarter. And then, of course, you've got inputs from the likes of the engineering teams and any requirements for integrations and that sort of thing that all come into that as well, because sometimes engineering have priorities that also need to be done for platform uplifts and security, etc., that sort of stuff. So you can imagine that getting the balance between all of these inputs can be a tricky thing to achieve. Here you can see an example of how different types of requests come into the engineering team and are handled. You can see that things like customer and internal requests get prioritized as part of the roadmap, while things like bugs and enterprise requests are treated differently. So the customer requests come in, get prioritized in meetings, then get fed into the roadmap and ultimately get built out at some point in the future. Bugs and kind of high priority enterprise requests will come in. Bugs get triaged depending on their severity. And I'll have a little bit more information on that in a second. And enterprise requests go through an enterprise management process where we figure out what the priority is on those things and then feed those into the teams from there. So as I mentioned before, bugs and what we call the defect management process or major incident management process, it tends to be where the likes of bugs or system outages come through. So depending on the severity of the incident, the speed at which this particular process is played out can be different. If it's a system outage and customers are unable to access the product, we'll pull together all of the relevant engineers and work through it immediately so that we can restore the service as quickly as possible. Whereas if it's a bug that is not stopping people from being able to do their work and use the platform appropriately, more likely, a support ticket will be raised, and that will go through and be taken care of as part of the normal business as usual defect management process that we have, where the engineers spend a certain amount of time each day looking at product bugs and then put those out as part of our normal sprint planning and workload there. Okay. So you can see here, as a feature moves from research to release, it travels through a series of steps that include, gathering customer feedback, the actual development and QA testing, potential alpha and beta releases depending on the size of the feature, and then finally, it being released to the public. And then there's a feedback loop there where if there's potential improvements, or there's always feedback from customers that comes back into the team, and ways that we can improve the feature that we've just released. So we try really hard to listen to that feedback coming from the customers. And there's been a number of occasions in the last 5 years where we've released a feature, it's had something missing, it's not quite worked in the way that customers had expected, and we've been able to really quickly turn around within a week or two, and give the customer that much better experience that they were expecting in the first place. So feedback is super important, and we take that stuff really seriously. All right, ways of working. So I jokingly kind of say this is the least exciting part of working as an engineer at Xplor, but we follow agile principles, and we work in sprints, and that allows us to adapt to changing business requirements. Also allows us to be kind of working at a predictable cadence, so we can deliver the quality features to our customers. So ultimately, we work in the same way that everybody else does in those sprints. I'll give a bit of an example of that here. So we all of their teams follow some version of an agile process. We have sprint planning, daily stand-ups, sprint reviews, sprint retrospectives, all of that stuff. Fairly normal standard agile practices, but it really does allow kind of the teams to deliver the best outcomes for our customers ultimately. So that's the most important thing. Now, a lot of our projects involve more than one engineering team. Recently, we've done integrated home and playground with our Quick Kids and our Discover platforms. Home and playground were once upon a time only connected to the Xplor Office platform, but we've put in a lot of work to get those integrations now working with all of the BMSs within Xplor. So we run what we call a cross-functional team, and that has representatives of all the teams that are involved in the project, as well as the product team and commercial representatives, and the likes of customer support and account managers are all in there to ensure that we as engineers don't always view things from every perspective. So involving those people helps us to make sure that what we're delivering meets the needs of the customers. So the projects then run their own agile ceremonies, daily stand-ups and sprint planning and whatnot within those cross-functional teams. So that's what that is. Thank you.